Geekers, this just happened. Superman served me a caipirinha. I flew to Rio de Janeiro to interview James Gunn, David Corenswet, and Rachel Brosnahan. And the most incredible thing of all is that the pose that started this whole journey, the Superman expert pose, the Asada 5, became canon. Of course, there were also problems along the way. I had to sort out several things before I could leave, and on top of that, I got sick during the trip and almost couldn't make it. To the question and answer session where Superman served me the caipirinha. Want to hear the gossip about how I got to go and how it's all thanks to you? I'll tell you everything in this video. Wow, we're going into geek gossip mode. Because today I traveled all the way to Brazil to take the new Superman movie very seriously. Didn't you go on a trip last week? I had to take the bus to school. I'm happy, don't ruin my intro. I mentioned multiple times that my goal for this year was to interview James Gunn and the Superman cast. What you don't know is that I had a really rough start with this. It began shortly before the first teaser's release when my friend Armando Machuca, a fellow content creator and Superman enthusiast, called me.
Dear friend Gunn, what?
Hey Armando, how's it going?
Good. And you, how are you doing? Very good, very good. Hey, tell me, what do you think about the Superman teaser? But it isn't out yet? I mean, yes, but, you know, they sent it a bit earlier to several creators, right? No. Didn't they tell you? No. It's just that I thought, didn't they tell you? No. Honestly, you didn't really resemble him either, did you? Yeah, it was quick, fleeting, fast. I'm just a blur, that's all I'm saying. Are you sure you didn't find out?
Didn't you? Yes, I felt terrible. I remember that day.
She sent me a 20-minute long WhatsApp voice message complaining about that. The trailer is shorter.
Not because of my friends. It's good that they saw the teaser and had a chance to edit their videos about the topic in time.
That's not what you said in the message. In fact, you mentioned a certain creator.
But because it meant that I still wasn't on the radar of the people in charge of making these decisions. Luckily, I've always been stubborn. I wrote the script, recorded, and edited the video myself so it could be released. The same day,
I sent myself back to school by bus again, but it was worth it.
Cold. The video performed excellently, and many of you tagging me on Warner's social media was incredibly beneficial. I'll explain later, and thanks a lot, Geekers. It was my first time doing the Superman expert pose. I'm not sure why I did it. I thought it was funny to copy the Batman expert pose. People liked it, so I kept going with the joke. Back then, I had no idea that half a year later I would do that same pose again, alongside Superman himself, Lois Lane, and boss James Gunn. Months later, James Gunn returned to Mexico with John Cena for CCXP to promote Peacemaker, providing another interview opportunity. On that occasion, I didn't achieve anything either. I was already giving up, honestly. Around that time, it was also announced that the Superman press tour wouldn't come to Mexico, so honestly, I already thought it was unlikely that they would send me out of the country for this. But then I got the message. An Instagram message from a communications agency that had previously invited me to the Joker 2 screening. And so I said, friend or foe? I didn't say
Warner!
Initially, it was all very mysterious. They asked for my phone number to make an offer, so I gave it to them and they added me to a WhatsApp group. I didn't know what it was about and didn't have the contact saved, but I recognized one person's profile picture. And I kind of recognized him, that he worked with something related to Warner. And I said, could it be? Will the miracle happen? At that moment, I felt really nervous because I didn't want to get too excited. Can you imagine flying so high just to fall afterward? The situation became more tense as it took them about an hour to message me after creating the group, during which I repeatedly checked my phone. I was unsure if it was a mistake, a change of heart, or what I truly hoped for. So finally, they messaged me and asked if I was available from the 21st to the 25th of June, so we're talking about 5 days. Remember, they sent me this message on June 20th, just one day before in the afternoon. I asked if they could give me more details and they just said we want to send you on a trip. We need to sort some things out and get approval, but first we want to check your availability. What should I say? What should I say? You may not know that I am obsessively organized with my time. I schedule everything, I plan everything. So on one hand, freeing up 5 days in my schedule is complicated, but on the other hand, maybe it was about Superman. Another thing you might not know about me is that even though content creators and influencers are content creators...
Why are you embarrassed? And I'm the one who has to say that my dad is an influencer.
Despite the reputation of influencers making a lot of money, my channel is small compared to those big YouTube celebrities. I mean, here at home we do struggle, and if we lose a client, it really affects us. And right around that time, I had a recording scheduled with a big brand. What should I do? On one hand, it wouldn't be very responsible of me to risk a client. But on the other hand, maybe it's Superman. I said, yes, I'm available, thinking to hell with the world. Guess who? Did he take the bus again? A few days and...
That was it.
It was rainy season. Querétaro got flooded. So after that, they told me, hey, we want to send you to Rio de Janeiro as part of the launch of the new Superman movie. Attend the fan event, create content, and interview James Gunn, David Corenswet, and Rachel Brosnahan. Over the next few hours, they were very attentive, checking flight details. They asked if I could leave at 6 ante meridiem the following day. Or if we're talking about the fact that it was already night, it meant leaving in a few hours. And yeah, I could do it. I just had to sort out a few little things. Most of my clothes were wet due to the week-long rain in Querétaro. I had to get a new suitcase since I left my old one at a taco place during my last trip to Mexico City. Who forgets such a huge suitcase at a taco place? Luckily, I sorted everything out and it was time to travel. I planned to fly from Querétaro to Mexico City. Yes, there are flights from Querétaro to Mexico City. It's a blink of a flight. It lasts about 25 minutes. I think that was my most Taylor Swift moment. It wasn't just a flight, but a flight. I flew from Mexico City to Rio de Janeiro with a layover in Panama. It was about 10.5 hours of flying, plus some time I had to wait between flights. I arrived in Rio on Sunday, June 22nd around 1 ante meridiem. I departed Mexico at 6 ante meridiem on Saturday and reached Rio at 1 ante meridiem on Sunday, partly due to the time difference. I woke up, had breakfast, walked a bit along Ipanema Beach, and listened to some musicians play The Girl from Ipanema on Ipanema Beach. As a musician, I can tell you that they already hate that song. And then they took us to a mysterious activity that I still can't tell you about. That moment is the only thing I can't tell you about. Everything else I'll tell you here. And then, well, I confess, the truth is I already watched the movie and I watched the whole thing. My impressions, I can't tell you about them yet. That will come in another video when the embargo is lifted. But it's coming soon. We ended the day at a Brazilian steakhouse where unfortunately I got sick. It had been years since I got sick like that. All night I had dizziness and vomiting, and the next day there was an activity scheduled. The itinerary just said, trip to the beach. So I messaged the Warner representative coordinating our activities and said, hey, you know what? I had a really bad night. This and this happened to me. Is it okay if I don't go to the beach? Because I also wanted to recover so I could go to the fan event, which was that night. He kindly assured me, yes, your health comes first. There's a big event at the beach we haven't told you about yet. If you can make it even later, that would be great. If not, no worries. At that moment, I don't know how I did it. Maybe my love for Superman gave me the willpower I needed. But I got up, found a pharmacy, took something, showered, and went to the beach. I'm glad I did, because it was right there that Superman himself served me a caipirinha. Let me tell you how it happened at the event. The beach was filled with influencers and content creators from across Latin America. The setup was excellent, with a Superman theme throughout. In fact, I made Mexico proud by taking one of those cushions with the emblem for my house.
My mom is gonna love having this here in the living room.
There were many delicious looking snacks and drinks. However, I could only look at them, not consume them. But she did give me some delicious coconut water that was really good for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, really good. Keep telling us, Dad. At this event, they had us personalize some tote bags, one for ourselves and one that they would give to the cast. My team prepared an animated Lois Lane for Rachel Brosnahan. Then something unexpected occurred. James Gunn, David Corenswet, and Rachel Brosnahan attended this event. There was a small Q&A session, and we were given the opportunity to take a picture with them. Afterwards, to wrap things up, the three of them went behind the bar and started serving drinks. I approached Superman and requested a caipirinha. I decided to drink that one, thinking I wouldn't waste a Supergirl. But then something strange happened. Have you ever wondered what celebrities smell like? When I shared these videos on social media, where I have connections to James Gunn, David Corenswet, and Rachel Brosnahan, many people inquired about their scents. And it's not uncommon. Every time I get to interview or be close to someone that famous, a lot of people ask me the same things. I've never noticed any particular smell because I don't have a good sense of smell, but I'm going to tell you something. These people look more attractive in person than on screen. They look good on screen, but perfect in person. Their skin is super well cared for and hydrated, every hair is in place, and they almost seem to shine with the health they radiate. I can't tell you what they smell like, but in this particular case, I can also tell you that the three of them were super friendly. They were very open to answering questions, and well, they even started serving drinks.
Are you telling me that nose is ornamental?
What? What's wrong with it? That night's fan event had a large, excited crowd waiting. to be able to take a picture with James, David, and Rachel, and to watch the first 30 minutes of the movie. I encountered a viral dog resembling Crypto E, complete with its own S-tag. Upon entering the theater, I noticed capes on each seat for the audience to wear. Then, before the screening, James, David, and Rachel said a few words, and there was a boy named Kalil who went up on stage with them. Then I noticed all those moments went viral, and that's when it hit me. Yes, I'm at a big event, I'm where things are happening. And all of that was very exciting for me, but the best was yet to come. The next day I had interviews with James, David, and Rachel, and according to what we had been told, each of us would have 5 minutes with them. I mean, not one by one, but all three together, 5 minutes. And at those junkets, they're very punctual. They even put a giant timer next to you. You understand, as they have numerous media interviews to conduct. But that morning, they told me they had managed for me to interview James first, and then David and Rachel. And well, that made me very, very happy, because that way I had twice as much time to be with them. Even so, there were a lot of questions I didn't have time to ask them, but I did have time to tell them about the expert Superman pose, and they helped me recreate it. Many of you requested this, and I was thrilled to do it since it was because of you that I could live out this entire dream. Your social media comments whenever a trailer was released definitely brought me to Rio de Janeiro. Thank you so much for all your help and support. When it came to the questions, the most crucial one I had to ask each of them, regardless of anything else, was the following.
For me, it's just the guy walking down the street wearing a Superman t-shirt. You know, it's just a t-shirt. Everybody knows what the S emblem stands for, what it means. And it means something simple and pure, which is something that brings us together and is the best version of ourselves.
It's almost the best a person can be. That means it's perfect, doesn't it? Someone who will always stand up for those who need protection, who need to be protected. He'll always
You'd expect someone who frequently mentions Superman in their videos to know the answer to this question. But frankly, I believe that's the question I'm constantly trying to answer, and I feel like every video I make on the subject represents one of the possible answers. Since Superman is not just a concept, but an idea that changes depending on who looks at it and from where they look at it. He's a character who has changed a lot over the years, but who always represents the best in all of us. And I think it's a question that I'll keep answering over the years. And maybe it sounds absurd to dedicate so many years to understanding a fictional character, but Superman was never just a character to me. I feel that deep down it's a much more transcendental question. What do we consider good in this world? Seen from this perspective, Superman is far more than a mere character. He's an ideal to strive for. There are many things wrong in the world. But there's also something deeply beautiful and inspiring in the fact that, as humans, we've created a figure like him. A man of tomorrow who represents everything right and just that we can aspire to as human beings. And here's where it gets interesting, because Superman doesn't exist, but the desire to be like him does. A man of tomorrow who represents everything right and just that we can aspire to as human beings. And that fills me with hope, because it convinces me that despite our flaws, deep down we do know what is right. As we strive for this ideal, we admire those who achieve it, despite our own stumbles and falls. But the fact that Superman remains so popular and that there are still reinterpretations of who he is always makes me feel hopeful. However, on this journey, I found another answer to who is Superman. And this is the answer I want to keep today, because it was the one I felt closest to these past few days. He is that character who, more than anyone else, has the power to inspire us to look up. For everything, weeks of hard work and a lot of content about Superman are coming, so don't forget to subscribe here and follow me on Instagram, because there will be more videos over there. The movie analysis is coming now that it's being released with the interviews and the collaboration with the Bottle of Candor. I read hundreds of Superman comics to understand him, and well, the truth is that we're living in a really great time, Superman fans. That's all for today, really. Thank you so much for everything. I'm Good the Geek Monitor, and look up.